Hello, everybody. I am so excited to have you here today. Okay, so this is episode 2 of Lunch with Lindsay, but this time I get to bring you into my space, right? So last time it was so much fun to go down and hang out with Eric Church and Chase Elliott. This time, this is our Kentucky Derby episode, and how strange is it that I have barn doors that lead into my office? But I can't wait to show you my space, and also one of my favorite people in the world, my friend Jeni, is gonna come join me for lunch, so come on in. So this is my space. I'm gonna show you all the things that I love that make it feel comfy, but one of the things is, Jeni, I'm gonna offer her for lunch a bunch of different soda choices, because what you would not know about my friend is that she has an issue. She drinks 9 Diet Cokes a day, and she has recently tried to wean herself off. I'm so proud of her, but so I want to see what she's actually into now. But anyway, we're gonna have so much fun. This is all about the Kentucky Derby. I know I've told you guys that I'm working with America's Best Racing to go to the Derby and to bring you all along on my journey as the owner of a racehorse. I can't wait to get started, and this is all about what we're going to experience over the course of the Derby weekend. Let's get to it. You're here. Hi. How are you?
I think it's so weird.
Oh my gosh.
I've been here so many times and not in your office.
Yes, I do. Oh my God, you're so sweet. What is this for?
Fancy schmancy.
You're so nice. Thank you. I know you've never been in here. Come on, sit over.
We're talking Derby.
We are talking Derby. So I hope you like food, because I just didn't even know. I got a bunch of stuff. Some stuff is Derby related, but some is not. But I'm so excited to see you. How are you?
I'm so excited to see you.
All right, so here's some backstory. So Jeni and I met each other in our daughter's preschool classroom. Jeni had just moved here from LA. We met back by the kitchen and the baby dolls, and I thought you were so awesome. And anyway, flash forward to our daughters becoming such good friends, and they actually did horse camp together 2 summers ago, right? And what was awesome was I was so excited because I've always been super interested in horse racing and being around horses. My daughter, Sibby, was really into it. What I did not know at the point of time where we started this camp was that you were a competitive horseback rider. So it was this entire world that you exposed me to that I had no idea that meant that my poor daughter came out of that camp scared of horses. Yeah. And she liked it, but your daughter was zooming.
Well, it was your idea. You pitched it to me.
Not knowing that you had an Olympic background.
A very long time ago. A very long, another lifetime ago. But yes. Yes, and so you got us really into it, and then Sibby decided she didn't like it and you bailed.
Well, because she was crying.
There. Right.
You're still there.
Right, we're still there.
I love it. So wait,
I don't know anyone there. I don't have any friends. I'm there by myself, just so you know.
Yeah, right. Okay, so first of all, serve yourself. So this is some of this, fried chicken is a Derby thing. So are deviled eggs, but these are eggs in a salad that I just found. And then the desserts, I found this banana cream pie and different treats. And I love snacks.
Did you know that during the Derby day, they eat 142,000 hot dogs on that day?
No, seriously? At Churchill Downs?
1,000 hot dogs.
So hot dogs is the thing.
Day.
So why is it hot dogs?
And 30,000
Who does that?
Cookies.
What kind of cookies? Because it's also Derby pie and whatchamacallit, the banana pudding and stuff, the mint juleps.
Those are fun facts that no one knows.
I love that.
Yeah.
And did you know that at the Derby, that they measure horses by hands? I did not know that. Did you know that?
Well, that's not just at the Derby.
It's always.
Yeah.
So our horse, Jace's Road, is 16.2 hands high.
Yeah. Real hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But adult hands.
Yeah.
Not child hands, adult hands.
No, not baby hands.
Yeah. But it's so fun learning about him. How'd you get your start in the horse thing?
Oh my God, it's a really funny story. But quick story. My dad took me to a business. I didn't want to go to school one day. I was 10 and I didn't want to go to school. And my mom was like, you have to go to school. And so my dad was like, I'll bring her. And he put me in the back of the car and he was like, you don't want to go to school? And I said, no. He was like, you have to go to the meeting with me. And so I went. We were pulling in the driveway and the meeting that he happened to have was at a farm. So we pulled into the farm and I remember being like, oh my God, it's so beautiful here. And he met a bunch of people in the driveway, and I remember him turning around and saying to me, "Do not do anything stupid." And at the time, I remember thinking, like,
really?
What's stupid? Like, and he disappeared inside. And I went into the barn, and there were all these, like, lovely people, and they were taking care of all these horses. And this woman, like, sort of took my hand and showed me around, and
really?
She brought me to this one stall where there was this little horse who had recently become an orphan.
Aww.
And his mom had passed away like 3 days earlier, and they were feeding him with a bottle.
Oh.
And oh my God, I was devastated. I sat in there and I was like crying.
Because of the loss? Because you were like emotionally.
I just felt so sad that it had no mom, and I was crying. And so my dad came down from the meeting, and they had at that point like showed me how to feed the horse. With
at that point, you're like on the saddle and you're riding around the corral.
I was like sold. So my dad's like, "Sorry, girl, Jeni." And I got in the car and I cried like all the way home, 45 minutes.
Were you crying about the horse without the mom, or were you crying because you didn't want to leave?
Both. Like the horse, I didn't.
Oh
I just kept saying it doesn't have a mom. It doesn't have a mom. And so the following night we were all in the car. Apparently my mom tells the story bringing my brother to hockey practice, and my dad just like casually turned down, like Neil Diamond on the radio, like driving like the diesel Mercedes, like.
Yes.
And was like, I bought Jeni a horse today. And my mom was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, that horse she was really upset about, I bought it.
That horse?
Yeah. And so my mom was like, "Phil, what are we going to do with that horse?" And he was like, "I'm going to build her a farm."
What?
And she was like, said a lot of words that, are like not, not fair to say out loud. And then he did. He he built a farm, and we named the horse J.E. The horse's name was Jesk, so it was J.E. for Jeni, S for Scott, and K for Carrie, who are my siblings.
Jesk.
And he built us a farm, and it was Jesk Arabians, and I became a horseback rider. And he built this huge farm in Woodbridge, and we had like 22 Arabian horses, and that is literally how my career started. Was I skipped school and fell in love with this orphan horse, and that was it.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
It's just...
So then a lot about, first of all, Jeni's a stylist, like Uber stylist, has sent me to like big functions with boxes of dresses that you're like, she's amazing. She dressed Martha Stewart, Travis Kelce, a million other people, right? But the horse thing, a lot like about the actual ins and outs. Like I didn't realize that horses, like a lot of them have a favorite snack. Someone told me a lot of them like Guinness. They love peppermints, right?
Yeah.
What else?
My horse that I had growing up used to love the creamsicle popsicles.
Oh, I love those.
My horse Mariah, I would come home from school and I always had in the freezer by his stall creamsicle popsicles. Jess always loved hamburgers. My mom had a horse who loved York peppermint patties. But that's my favorite thing. Like, I like multiple times when I was a kid, like 13, 14 years old, because I would train before school and I would train after school. And always after school, I would bring Mariah, who was my horse that I was training with, into the kitchen and always ask my mom if Mariah could eat dinner with us. And my mom would always like throw a cutlet across the kitchen. He can have a cutlet and take him back to the barn, Jeni. Like, get him out of here. We just did the floors.
Oh my God. I love that. And when you talked about peppermint patties, so Jeni's the only person that has pulled off like a monstrous surprise party that she threw me for my birthday.
In this outfit.
And she had, what was it? You had an entire L that was covered in York peppermint patties.
Yeah.
It was the best. It was so
bad.
good.
It looked like a kindergartner made it.
It was perfect. They didn't last long because me and my kids, and Melvin, like just tore through it. It was amazing.
I can't believe that. I did it with hot glue.
Right.
You guys aren't in the hospital.
The amount of time. Well, yes. Okay. Horses. So tell me something about like what is the Derby to you? What's the...
Oh my God, there's so much history behind the Derby. Everything, like the fashion, the horses, the jockeys, the outfits, everything. There's so many fun facts. There's it's so encompassing, everything about it. The track, the day. there's funny facts. There's obviously so many historical facts and so much history behind every aspect of it that there's nothing like it in the world. I mean, if you get a chance to even experience it once, it's an event that, you know, I mean, no matter where you're sitting, no matter where you are, how you're getting there, even if you can just hear it, it's an event that you feel it in your soul, right? Like it's a moment that you don't forget. You feel it, you know, if you care, which I feel like even if you don't care, you still, it's a moment in time that not everybody, you know, gets that moment. And it is genuinely something that you can feel the pitter patter, you can hear the excitement, you can smell the horses, you can smell the food, like the excitement. It's just so encompassing to every sense you have.
That's what I always say about racing, like motorsports, just because that's where my experience has been. It's like that every one of your senses is activated.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. All right. You need to eat. In the meantime, one of the people that I had a chance to talk to was the owner of the horse Forte, who is the favorite for this Kentucky Derby. So I'm really excited to be embarking on the ownership stake that I have in Jace's Road. Jace's Road, we weren't sure if the horse was going to make the Derby, but he made the Derby, which is amazing, and it's going to be such a cool way to follow it. But Forte is the one everybody has their eyes on. Mike Repole is a super businessman, and he has a million jobs. He has zero time, but he did find time to talk about what this week was like for him and also like his thoughts heading into this race. I have a million things I want to ask you. Mike Repole, I think that you must be the busiest person on the planet. Now I'm starting to realize that it's not even like this week. It's just probably all the time, right? Like, where are you right now and what's going on in your world?
Well, I'm in my house in Windermere, Florida. And yesterday I couldn't do this because I had a huge meeting at 2:15. I was the mystery reader at my daughter's class.
So you understand. That's amazing.
So, you know, I work 18-hour days, but in between, I go for my 45-minute walk in the morning to get my mind going, and I throw in my mystery reader days with my Joya, who's a first grader, and I read 2 books to them, Dream Big and Be You, and I actually put King Mike on the guest list because that's what the kids call me, King Mike, and I accept it, and I let them know you should also let your parents call me King Mike. I'm okay with that, I tell them.
Wait, how was the response to your reading?
You know, I go to Joya's class a lot, and I'm always bringing snacks, or I tell them that, it's going to be, no school tomorrow, and it's a Thursday, so there is school, so I rile the kids up. So the 2 teachers are not really, they're more concerned about me as a father than my daughter as a student. But I really enjoy the kids, and I go in and it was fun. I mean, it was a great reaction. I have a great video when my friends took it as I came in, and the kids are they're just great. I mean, it's I really just enjoy it. I mean, being an older parent, and having a 7-year-old girl, I mean, it's a blessing. It really is.
I spent time. I'm my daughter's Girl Scout troop leader. She's a Daisy. She's in kindergarten. And so we actually are doing a full Kentucky Derby themed meeting because I want to get them involved, because I love how everyone I meet in horse racing, and I'm new to it, but I've loved it for a long time because my dad was a journalist who covered horse racing, and I've always learned it by osmosis a little bit through him, but I love the idea of getting kids into it at an early age and just explaining what is so cool. So from your standpoint, as the owner of Forte, the favorite in this Kentucky Derby, how would you describe to kids what that experience is like?
Listen, it's an unbelievable experience. The part that people have to understand is the pressure of owning a horse like Forte. Everybody, who wouldn't want to have the Derby favorite? And trust me, when they're at the gate on that at 6:45 on Saturday, I'll be very happy. But every morning, today the track was sloppy. He galloped well. Tomorrow he's working with a horse that I also own, Bright Future. And horses get fevers and horses get sick. And the one thing about the Derby, Lindsay, is It's for 3-year-olds colts on the first Saturday of May, and you can only be a 3-year-old colt on the first Saturday of May one time in your life. And, you know, I started this game with my first Kentucky Derby horse being the favorite, and he was scratched the day before. And, you know, the experience was humbling. But what I said that day was, if I can get over that part of scratching the Kentucky Derby favorite, can't be any more tougher than what I'm going through, you know, back in 2011. So I come back 12 years later with the Kentucky Derby favorite. But, you know, the excitement level from 1 to 10 is 11, and the anxious level from 1 to 10 is 12. And, you know, you're kind of balancing the excitement with the anxious, and, you know, you loving sports so much. I read one time Brett Favre threw up before every game and then went out and threw 4 touchdown passes. I'm in the throwing up stage right now.
So do you actually do that? I mean, is there a ritual that you have, or?
No, it's not a ritual. It's just about, you know, I'm blessed because once the races are that day, you know, I'm surrounded by this time it's gonna be 65 friends and family. You know, my 83-year-old dad, my 70-year-old mom, my wife of 20 years, my 7-year-old daughter Joya, my childhood friends. I mean, who would have thought? You know, kid from Queens. My dad was a waiter. My mom was a seamstress. So not really blue blood breeding for thoroughbred ownership, but you know, turned out, look where we're at.
So what was it that sparked the interest in you in horse racing to begin with?
You know, I'm a competitor, and you know, whether it's playing sports or, you know, playing real life business, or, you know, as a kid, I used to love going to the track, and sometimes on school days and sometimes not on school days, but that's another story. And I was 13, 14, 15, and I really fell in love with handicapping, like trying to figure out, you know, the variables of, you know, short to long, dirt to turf, dry track, muddy, soft turf, hard turf, trainer changes, jockey changes, and all these variables. And I said, listen, I honestly believe it made me a better entrepreneur because, you know, when you're an entrepreneur and you have these businesses, whether it's ops or finance or sales or marketing or HR, you deal with so many different issues, and you have to almost be 1 or 2 steps ahead of it. And that's what handicapping was. I mean, some people do the New York Times puzzle, and I handicap my horse races.
Yeah. So what will it be like when you're there, do you expect, that day? And actually the night before, I mean, is there a specific way that you will spend the night before the Derby?
You know, listen, you know, between my wife, Maria, and my assistant, Erin, and, you know, Danielle, who works for the stable, you know, there's a lot of work. You know, you got a 65, you know, 4-day weekend. People come in Thursday, they check into the hotel. We have a dinner on Thursday night. You know, we go to the track Friday morning. We have Gambling Girl in the Oaks. I don't think any owner has a horse in the Oaks and the Derby. To have a horse in the Oaks and the Derby is amazing. Then we go to dinner after the Oaks, and then the next day we go to the track and we have the Derby, and then we have we have a celebration on Saturday night. You know, if we lose, it's just for life, and if we win, it's for life and winning the Kentucky Derby. But, you know, listen, I'm so blessed, and, you know, I've been doing this for 15 years at a high level, and, you know, it's not my first Kentucky Derby. I'm proud to say I'm 0 for 7. But you know what? You know, it's like in sports, college basketball. If you make the Final Four, only one team of the 64 can win. You make the tournament, you get to the Final Four. You want to win one day, but, you know, if you get to 25 of them and you win none, you got 25 great experiences that you got.
I have to tell you, I oftentimes say the stories that I follow of the teams that make it to the Super Bowl, the teams that win the AFC Championship game or the NFC Championship game, or to your point, the teams that win the Final Four, those are the ones that I actually just got chills as I said that, because I feel like that is almost just enough, if not maybe sometimes better, because you're earning that experience and you can always say that you went there. It also I'm a sports crier. I try not to, but like there was one experience with the Final Four when I covered George Mason back in the early 2000s, and I mean I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I was watching the one of the stars of the team.
Yeah, no, I remember that one.
And he and his dad were crying under the basket saying Final Four, just because they made it. And that's so great. So how will you handle that morning? Like what will it look like for you? Do you have a specific routine that you'll follow to just...
You know what? I mean, honestly, having Joy is one of the greatest blessings in the world. I mean, you know, she went to her first derby when she was 11 months old because she was born in June, and that year we had Outwork in 2016. So I always say it took me 45 years to get to my first derby, and it took her 11 months. And by the way, she just walked in from her school.
I love it. I hear her.
Excuse me, Joya. I'm on the Zoom doing it. This is what happens. See, so now that I'm talking about her, how can you worry about your horse when she comes over? I have no idea what she's going to come over and tell me what this is about. But for her, this is a lot more important than what do you got?
Can I
Show
say
me.
hello?
Oh my God! Say
Hi,
hello to
Joy.
Lindsay.
Joy, what is that?
Oh, you got. She lost a tooth today.
You lost your tooth?
My
Which tooth
God,
was it?
Show it.
Oh my
I'm so
goodness.
proud. That's
Oh my-
great.
I
Tell
love
Lin-
it.
Oh, tell Lindsay why I don't like you losing teeth. Tell her.
Because I'm growing up.
She's growing up. I mean, keep those teeth in your mouth and stop. You can't lose your baby teeth. It's got to stop.
Well, you can just glue it back in. Your dad can just
I
glue it
see
back
that.
in your mouth.
And then
You're
she's
fine.
getting so tall. Look how tall. Show how tall you are.
Joy, how
guys
old?
are
You're
growing.
7. You're 7. How many
How old
teeth
are
have
you?
you lost?
7.
Okay.
How many teeth have you lost?
6.
6.
Yes. I love that. So that means that you're going to get a little special something, right?
I don't know. You good? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Bye, Daddy.
Okay, but what about Lindsay? That's not there yet. So who's going to win the Kentucky Derby?
Daddy.
But which horse?
Forte.
Forte.
Wow.
Right?
Joy, I can't wait to see you there. I can't wait to hopefully meet you at the
She's gonna go
Derby.
there too, okay?
Bye, Lindsay.
Bye, Joy. Tell me, Mike, tell me about Forte. Tell me, one thing I have a question about is, do you get the sense that Forte gets the sense that the big races are happening?
Someone wants to say hi.
Oh, hi, Reagan. How are you? Lindsay, this is Joya's friend Reagan, right?
Hi, Reagan.
Say
How are
hi.
you?
Okay. All right, you guys have a great play date. Have fun. Shut the door. I love you.
Oh, that's amazing. That's real
Shut the
fatherhood
door.
right there. Well done.
You know, honestly, how do you just when losing a horse race with Joya at my side, it's like I say to my friends, they say I got a little mellow. I say, let's just go for ice cream. Let's just go for ice cream. I mean, it's really made losing easier, but it's you still want to win, but you see the bigger picture of life, the experiences. This is her 4th Derby in 7 years, my 6th in 50, but it's pretty special. So you're gonna ask me about Forte?
Yeah, I was just asking do you get the sense that Forte senses a difference in any type of competition? How does the horse react? And is there anything special that you do to communicate before a race this big?
I've had a lot of horses in my life and a lot of good ones, and some just love to run, and some love to compete, and some just are better than the other horses, and some actually have personalities where they care more. The one thing about Forte, he's won 6 out of 7 races. He knows, when he's in the paddock, he's prancing like Zenyatta. He knows he's there. He's bowing his neck. He comes out like a show horse. He goes on the track. He gets excited. He knows when he gets into the gate, it's showtime. And honestly, the Florida Derby, to me, he was 5th at top of the stretch. And I remember at the quarter pole saying, I hope he hits the board. I hope he gets 3rd. And there was just a moment, and I've seen Zenyatta do it where she was 18 for 18 at one time, and you never thought she was going to get to the wire until she got there every single time. And that last 16th of a mile, where she was definitely going to be 3rd, and I blinked, and she was first by 1. He was first by 1. And you just don't my reaction was disbelief meets relief. Like I couldn't even cheer because I couldn't believe it happened. And this is a horse that knows where that finish line is. This is a horse that knows when it's race day. And he kind of gives you that confidence when you see him when he's in the paddock and he's performing and he's dancing before the big game. How can I be nervous? I mean, he's as calm as anyone. So he kind of calms me down. So very, very special horse, and so blessed. I mean, he's a Forte means strong in Italian. He's strong-minded. He knows what he's doing, and he loves to win.
So this is my first time as a horse, as an owner or part of an ownership group, because I have a small stake in Jace's Road. It just happened. I wasn't expecting that he was going to make the Derby field. What advice could you give me in terms of, I mean, it's kind of funny because we'll be there together, right? And not knowing how it's going to play out.
Well, it's going to be really funny because I'm not rooting for you and you're not rooting for me. So
I mean, I root for your story. It's a great story. How can you not root for a favorite? But you're right.
And listen, you own that horse with West Point.
Yeah.
And I'm very friendly with West Point. For Terry Finley, who I respect a ton in this game, does a great job. We've partnered on a couple of horses, West Point and Repole stable. Not this one, unfortunately. And Jason Blewett is a great friend of mine, and he works for that. So I know, he was rooting for him to get in, and you got a scratch the other day, and you got in, and I think it's awesome. He's, so very, very happy. And listen, for a first time, first of all, I love syndicates, and I think there should be a lot more, because they're the best at educating people on the ownership side and sharing this experience with people. So it makes me happy that for a whatever share, you get to be there and have a horse in the Derby. That's number one. Number two, honestly, it's what I say to everyone: just enjoy the moment, man. Just enjoy the moment. For an owner like you, and even an owner like me, it doesn't matter whether you own one horse or 400. Being there is the real win. That's the win. There's going to be 160,000 people. I hope you're going to do the Derby walk. Mm-hmm. If you can.
Yes.
Doing that Derby walk, the first time I did it, I got real emotional. I was at the front, and I had like 25 people behind me. And I said, all right, kid from Queens cannot cry here. I'm just not going to cry. So tried my best to hold it back. I got my New York City cop brother, my friends that I've known since childhood, and my nieces and nephews, and I turn around, and 20 out of 25 people have tears down their eyes. And I'm like, this is special. And, if you can just freeze that moment and just freeze that day, the race at the end of it really is just the small piece. It's everything but the race. Go in like we're not, listen, I have a 5% chance of winning the race because there's 20 horses, and you have a 5% chance. We have the same odds, in my opinion. Okay? Last year, the horse with the highest odds won. So nobody really knows. And at the end of the day, the horses are winners, the owners are winners, the jockeys are winners, the trainers are winners, and 165,000 people and 15 million people at home watching this. It's just a special day that people just root. And, I wish this country had a lot more days like that, but this is a day where everybody roots for each other. And it's just a beautiful day. And when they sing, you said you're a crier?
Yeah.
I can't wait till the camera goes on you and My Kentucky Home goes on, because I know tears are going to be going down your face. So special. It's special. And life is good. Life is great. Just enjoy the moment, because it doesn't really get any bigger than this, to be honest with you, in sports.
Well said. My last question, because I love to ask everyone that I talk to this, what would you say has been the toughest thing in horse racing or in business, because we know how accomplished you are there, that you have overcome, that you are proud of, that has shaped you?
I would just say it's not one thing. Not being afraid of failure and failing. I always say, if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Like I get in a discomfort zone if I'm winning too much. So that means I'm not pushing myself. I'm not challenging myself. So fail forward, fail often. If you're really smart and you hire great people around you, you're going to get it right more than you get it wrong. So every time you fail, you're probably going to get it right 2 more times. So just keep doing it and have belief in yourself. But we live in an age where people would rather go 0 for 0 than 1 for 10. I'm all about 1 for 10. 1 for 10 is a win. 0 for 0 is no try. So honestly, the ability to take chances, take risk, work really hard. There's no do-overs in life, Lindsay. I mean, you live once. I don't have any regrets. I've lost. I've made some bad business decisions and some great ones. But every time I've got it right, I learned a small lesson. Every time I failed or got it wrong, I learned a huge lesson. And it helped me 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. So I get inspired and motivated by failure. I hate it. No one hates losing more than me. But I take the lesson and I use it in the future somewhere. And be a constant learner. And just, I was good friends with Kobe Bryant, and he talked about being better. Tomorrow I want to be better than I am today. Next week I want to be better than I was last week. And, we asked Tom Brady about Super Bowl rings. What's your favorite one? The next one.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about,
I loved talking to Mike Repole, who owns Forte, who is the favorite in the Kentucky Derby, but I'm also really excited about the ownership group I'm a part of. And Joy Taylor and Ian Rapoport are two people that are doing the Stake to Stardom with me. Ian agreed to catch up because he's the one out of the three of us that have been to the Derby before. He's also one of the busiest people I really know because he is all things NFL, but I was really pumped to talk about horses. All right, so Ian Rapoport, I think most people know you as obviously the NFL insider, a guy who's always grinding, who's always working. But what I love learning about you is that you love a good theme party and that you love horse racing, specifically the Derby. How did that start for you?
We do love theme parties. If you follow on Instagram, you'll occasionally see some sort of dress-up party with me and my wife. It's something we do where we live. I am all in, and whatever costume I'm presented with, I will happily wear.
Have you always been that way, by the way?
There's never really been a need to dress up as much as there is now. But I'm kind of whatever I do, I'm generally all in. And I would also say, like, whatever my wife tells me, I will generally listen. So that seems to be a good match. Most recently, there was a hoedown. We dressed... I got some sweet stuff from a Nashville-based store, cowboy hat, boots. So, yeah, we do it up pretty good. As far as the Derby, it was interesting. We planned for a bucket list trip for our 10th anniversary, and there's only a few big sporting events that I've never been to. I've never been to the College World Series, never been in the Masters, never been at the Kentucky Derby. So we went for our 10th anniversary. We did it up right. This awesome guy, Joey Wagner, who's like a mayor of Louisville, essentially, hooked us up and kind of made sure that we did all the right things,
Okay. Like really got a taste of it.
Yeah, we did distillery tours and parties and red carpet and like the whole thing. It was awesome. Dressed up, got a new suit for it. It was awesome. And it was so good, and the racing was so amazing. The horses were beautiful. And just the atmosphere was so cool. On our flight back, we kind of looked at each other and were like, so every year? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, COVID kind of intervened a little bit. And there was one time where the draft and the Kentucky Derby were on the same weekend due to like a calendar quirk.
Yeah.
But we've been there every other year. We are back this year and cannot wait.
How are there similarities that you see with the football world and the horse racing world?
I mean, there's a lot of crossover because, like, I end up talking horse racing with NFL people all the time. I ran into Bill Belichick at the Combine, and, it's, I would say, not often to get private time with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And, I had a lot of football questions, but we ended up talking about horse racing. And he loves racing just like I do, and he loves great athletes, to watch just like I do. So that was, there's a lot of NFL crossover, which has been really cool to see. I would say, a lot of what makes a great racehorse kind of makes a great football player, bloodlines, and you get the right training and you get the right trainer.
Yeah.
And, horses get treated very well, and the better they get treated, it seems the better they are and perform and just exist. I would say same thing for football players. The time of like screaming in players' faces whacking them on the helmet are basically over because I think people realize that doesn't help. Same with horses. There's a lot of similarities, and I like all of it.
I love that. New shoes help them perform better, right? I mean, no, there are so many things. That's really cool. So, do you find at the Derby that your worlds intersect? Like, do you end up running into a lot of football players and people from the industry?
Yeah, I do. Now there used to be more football players, but the F1 race in Miami is now the same weekend.
Yes.
So that has probably pulled some away, which is totally fine. I love F1, but they can have it. I will stick to the Derby. But I always run into coaches or run into players or former players. It's there's going to be a big group of football players, and it's I don't mind it. I'm not looking for it because it's not like I'm trying to go talk about football either, honestly.
Right.
But if when you share the same love for something, it's always nice to run into people who have that with you.
So for you, what's the part that lights you up most about the horse racing experience and specifically the Derby?
I would say the moment when a horse takes control of a race is exceptionally cool. Like I love racing. I'll watch track. I'll watch, F1. Not as much NASCAR, but I'll watch F1. I watch in the Olympics. Like I love to watch racing. It's so fascinating, and the different psychological angles and why one won and one didn't, or why this person had the lead, and then you sort of can see them crack a little bit. Like there's a lot of racing that I like, and you get to watch it all the time. So I love watching a horse just take control of a race, and you're like, all right, well this, he's now going to take it upon himself to win. I enjoy that. I like the couple 15 seconds or so right before a race when it's so anxious and it's tense and you just don't know how it's going to go. I was watching Jace's Road in the Louisiana Derby, and a couple horses, he was one of them, kind of bucked out of their gate and the doors open. And I'm like, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. He was so feisty and how is this going to go? And then it went so well. And it was, I like the kind of unknown of right before races.
So Mike Repole was talking about just, how that moment leading up to it and what that feels like and doing the walkover. So now I'm so excited that we're going to be experiencing this together as an owner for the first time and having had that experience before. What do you think that's going to be like?
I mean, it's all been pretty surreal so far, honestly. Like, I can't say I expected this. I got a text from Terry Finley right after the Louisiana Derby, and he basically was like, we're going to be in. And I had to read it. I'm like, in what?
right. That's how I felt too.
What are we talking about? And I didn't know. And he was so sure. And of course he was right. It's all just crazy. I try not to get nervous for work, but sports things I will get nervous for, watching my Mets or watching my boys. I'm sure I'll be nervous. I'm sure I'll be a wreck. I'm just going to try to enjoy it because, is he going to win? I don't know, but he's got a shot. There's only 20 of them, so he's got a shot.
All you need to have is a shot, right?
Right.
I know I've been thinking about different sports analogies. Number 12, maybe some would say not ideal, but not shabby, not awful, solid, I think,
Fine.
Right? You think so?
I mean, 7 to 10 is ideal, 12 is fine.
Yeah, we'll take it. That's going to be so much fun. All right, so you're going to be there, and your wife's coming with you, yes?
Oh, yeah. She'll
Okay.
be there. Her outfits are all ready.
I can't wait. How many does she have? I need to make sure.
I mean, she has one for Derby, one for Oaks, and I think a backup for each, but that's sort of not my territory. Whatever she wants to, however many suitcases, however many hat boxes.
I love it.
I'm merely along for the ride.
You know what's funny is you're in one of the most competitive, not even sport, not even jobs, but really the most competitive position, I think, in a job, just because of how your world revolves around breaking news, right? And breaking sports news. I mean, literally. So this, as I was thinking about it, I'm like, wow, this must be something, there's something to that also really speaks to you about this, about the competition, about the adrenaline, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, part of my job, a lot of my job is you want to win. You want to tell people something they don't know, and you want to be accurate and you want to be first. And, to get a big win is a very, very cool thing. I love it, and I am very competitive. And the things I care about a lot. And that, that's in my private life and that's in my professional life.
That's awesome. All right, before I let you go, what have you thought about what it would be like if, I don't want to jinx it, but just if.
I've thought about it. It gets me nervous, honestly.
Right? It makes my hands sweat.
Yeah. I just, I'm sure it'll be a mess, high-fiving everyone, going crazy. I don't know. It definitely makes me nervous, and I don't believe it. Like, I don't know that it's going to happen, and I don't want to think about it. But it might. I mean, I was there last year, and watching Rich Strike do what he did, just the unbelievable speed. Now my guess is Jace's road probably runs from the front, so it'll be a little different, whereas, like, Rich Strike was hanging in the back, and everyone just kind of ran out of gas. But he's got a shot, so we will see.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hang with you. Share a mint julep.
Yes.
Any NFL news you're working on that you want to share?
I hope not. I'm off for the rest of the week.
Okay.
If there's something comes up, I will happily report it. But it's been a long season and just a couple of days,
All right, my friend. I'm so excited to see you in Louisville. Thank you so much.
Excited to see you. Thank you for having me.
All right, bye, Ian. I love hearing the backstory of how people got into it with the rituals, the everything, like how you spend the night before, all that stuff. Fashion. I'm so excited, Jeni, to have you here to talk about fashion because, what is it that's super important about the Derby? And I don't mean just the stuff that I'm gonna wear.
I mean, it's the hats, right? It's the fashion.
Yes.
It's the florals for men, the bow ties, right?
I've heard neon is really big this year too.
Neons, yeah, and florals. The hats started obviously 1800s, right? When they started, the really big, they would do feathers and ribbons, and do you know that women would wear stuffed birds?
No.
Yes.
Like real birds? Like real ones? How do you know that?
Stuffed birds, because I know stuffed birds, and they didn't have the access to Joanne fabrics. You know what I mean? They couldn't just run to Michael's.
It's like a taxidermy on your head.
Yeah, and it was incredible. Just the way that it sort of evolved through the years.
Okay.
The hats and then you have the silks, right? With
the jockey silks.
The jockeys, right? So you know that the different silks represent ownership, right? So that's
right.
So that it's almost that predates to basically
Cares half
war,
of a banana
right?
thing. Yes.
Oh, this is so fancy.
And yeah,
Oh my God.
Okay, wait. So keep going. So the silks, but isn't it something like the jockeys are given the silks?
They're given the silks by the owner, right?
Mm-hmm,
the owner. And sometimes you'll even, I think there's 22,000 silks that are owned, currently registered. So the silks are registered by their owner. Sometimes you'll see two of the same silks in a race, and that means that, those horses are owned by they have the same owner.
Okay, right, exactly.
Right. And so, they're all the same size, right? Because you know that jockeys have a certain weight and a certain height that they have to hit.
Which is very hard. It's rigorous trying to stay underweight. That's something that also can be kind of controversial, but the bottom line is that they've got to maintain a certain weight, to your point.
Yeah. And the horses have a certain weight that they have to hit to carry.
And my horse, Jace's Road, is 1,130 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I love reading that. It's what?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they'll weigh in, and that's everything, saddle, jockey, all of it.
So it's you're not taking your clothes off to cheat the scale.
No. They have to hit a certain weight. If they don't hit a certain weight, they'll add on.
Got it.
And so so it's not just about what you're wearing or what Craig's wearing. It's also about what the jockey's wearing. It's so all encompassing, right? And it's just everybody's dressed, but the hats are really.
So I went shopping for a hat, right? So when I was at the Breeders' Cup, I met this woman, Christine Moore. She is the official hat maker of America's Best Racing, the group that I'm working for at the Derby. And she has a studio in New York. So she has pop-ups at all the races, but her true studio since 1994 has been in New York City. So I went into the city last week and I went into her shop and we made an appointment, went, and you walk in and it's like Alice in Wonderland, all these beautiful, beautiful hats.
She was a costume designer for Cats.
Yes, she was on Broadway. Yes. How did you know this?
I don't know.
Because that's what you do. Seriously? But it was so cool. I know. And so we went in there and she was
crazy?
Well, yeah, first of all, they forgot I was coming. I went with my friend Sarah. They were super sweet, but they were legit working their tails off in the back room. Like we went in there, she
so crazy busy.
Had no time to talk, but was so kind. She kept, she was wonderful, but she was literally folding the edges over a hat. She had like a team of 5 people. Yeah. It was so awesome to see. But I want to show you my hat because also what she said is that the preferred way to do it is you get the dress and then you get the hat.
You didn't do that.
No, I didn't do that because no.
You don't have an outfit, you got your hat.
I got my hat. So I need you to help me get my outfit.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my hat over here. Can you help me if I show you what my hat is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous because I haven't showed anyone. No one has seen this. Okay. Here we go.
Did she tell you about her Barbie Derby hat?
No. What's the Barbie Derby hat?
She did a Barbie Derby hat.
Like it looks like Barbie? Oh my gosh, look at this box. What was it, like for Barbies to wear or for, you mean, it was on a Barbie doll or it looked like Barbies or it was Barbies?
It was like Barbie's.
Okay.
Hat. Oh my God.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So it was, by the way, it was so fun walking through the city with this hat box.
Did you wear it walking through the city?
No, it's taboo. It's like you can't, it's like a wedding dress. All right. If you don't like it, don't tell me because it's too late. This is it.
Oh.
Oh my God. Do you like it?
Of course I like it.
Oh my gosh.
So everything about this hat is supposed to encompass like happiness and fun and luck and love.
Luck?
And like, yes.
Okay. Oh my God, I love you.
And they're supposed to just bring you love and happiness. You can't wear it like, you've got to have a little.
You basically are going to have to come with me. Okay, so.
I love it.
Really?
Yes.
Thanks.
Because there are rules.
What?
You cannot wear like a blue dress or a black dress.
Because, why?
Because that's boring and lame.
Okay, so Jeni, for context here, it dressed me for my SRX series that I did for racing on CBS, and you've done like a lot of my Olympic stuff. Like your style, I love your style so much because you're all like neon and things I don't expect that I'm like, really? And then it's something I love. So would you can you help me find it?
But we're not going to match. We're going to have fun.
Okay.
And wear color.
It doesn't have to be a dress, too. They said it could be a suit, but I do know that because I'm part of the group, we'll be able to walk with the horse before the start of the race a little bit. And so mud is an issue because I do have a neon green suit, but mud would be a potential, unless I could pin it.
I've seen that suit.
Okay, don't do it. No.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
It's going to be so fun.
I know. I'm so glad you're here. I love you so much.
I love you.
Okay, so you should really come with me, but also we have a lot of adventures ahead.
This is going to be fun.
I know. It is going to be awesome. What else? What's on your plate? What are you doing? What's going on with you? Can you tell the people where they can find you?
Well, you can find me shopping for a derby outfit.
And?
I don't know. These days, you can find me at my house. Find me at my house.
At your house or mine. Also, you have to try my egg chair. I love you.
Oh my gosh, your egg chair. I can sit in it?